Hey, what's up, everybody? Eric Walmsley here with my brother.
Hey, Jared Hoover.
All right. Hey, so we're still in the Bellagio, and I looked at the calendar. Today is actually May 24th of 2022.
Yes.
So we're going to try and do a couple videos here. So this one is going to be customer war stories. This one, I think I've told quite a few people this one, but it's one of my favorites, right? So I think it was maybe year 2, year 3 at Nutanix. It was actually April 1st, which at the time was a Saturday. And I may have been barbecuing and drinking margaritas, and it was around 9:30. I think we actually had just started watching one of the new Marvel movies, and I got this text. Nutanix employees, we get emails when our customers open support cases, and it said P1, server is wet. Like, what is this? And so I'm thinking, and then I saw who it came from. It was one of my clients that I have a good relationship with, and I'm thinking he's just playing a joke because it's April 1st. I'm like, okay, so I put it down. Like 10 minutes later, my sales rep calls me. He goes, hey, did you see that case? I'm like, yeah. He's like, what do you think about it? I go, I don't know, what should I think about it? He goes, well, I spoke to the gentleman that opened the case, and apparently it's real. They have like water coming in their server room, and it was a client in southern Alabama. And it's like, okay, so what do we do? He's like, I don't know, what do we do? So we actually, I hopped on the support case. We were on a Zoom or a WebEx or something, and come to find out, the guy went on video and showed us there's water streaming down their the sprinkler systems in their little data closet or the data center. Yes, I did say sprinkler systems in the data center. Apparently, a squirrel had made a nest up there, and somehow somebody was doing maintenance and scared the squirrel, and the squirrel hit the sprinkler, and so water was coming down. We ended up sending a tech on site the very next day, and he brought with him a whole new, I think it was 2 blocks, it was 3060s. They swapped out the SSDs and put it in the new nodes, and booted it up, changed some JSON files, and it came out back online.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I've told that story to potential clients and existing clients, and they're like, I go, don't get any ideas, they're not waterproof, but it's one of those things, it's amazing it worked. I never would have thought I'd be able to tell a story that Nutanix cluster survived being wet.
Don't keep squirrels in the data center.
Don't keep squirrels in the data center. Yeah, I'm not sure if they ever fixed the issue of how they got in, but
So I have a sad story in the sense of lessons learned. Doesn't have a happy ending.
Okay.
I got called into a POC with a partner-initiated deal with a bank, and the bank was really looking at us for VDI. And since it was needed a GPU, they wanted something on-prem.
Okay.
And the only thing I could get my hands on was a hybrid cluster, so mixed SSD and hard drives. First mistake.
Okay.
And because the customer assured me that we just want to test our desktop with a GPU, which I was able to get from NVIDIA. They were a great partner in this.
Yep.
They shipped it. No questions asked. That part was awesome.
Sure.
So get on site, get it installed, and I had some problems with the install, but that was on me. But the customer swore to me this wasn't going to be about performance. They just wanted to test their desktop.
Yeah, we're just making sure it's going to work. It's a functional test.
Yeah, it's a bank application. They wanted to make sure it would work in our VDI with the GPU.
Sure.
So fast forward less than 2 weeks later, they're like, yeah, the performance just isn't what we expect. And we were just not seeing what we need in responsiveness and all this. And I explained to them, it's like, you told me that this was not about performance. It was about a functional test, operational test. And I feel like we met those goals, and they're like, nah, it's just not performing the way that we want. And so, unfortunately, because of that, they decided not to go with us. And then to add insult to injury, they made me come back on site and run the utility to actually wipe it because it was a bank.
Sure.
So I was sitting in their data center by myself, having to run an ISO to wipe the disks for this POC, and they did not buy. And it really, lessons learned, I think that all of us can take away is, no matter if they say it's going to be performance or not, it's probably going to be performance.
Sure, people notice.
Oh yeah, so should have known that. I should have just been better involved instead of the partner brought us in, so I thought it was better qualified, and it's I thought we had more of an inside track because the partner was at the table bringing us to the table, which is always great, and it just didn't do that extra level of qualification. on my own. When the partner's excited, I'm excited to be there because you're getting walked into an account.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it seemed like the customer was kind of excited, open to it, but I think with the kind of the disconnect on performance, it's ended up that they're still not a Nutanix customer.
Gotcha.
And definitely a lesson learned for all of us is, have objectives in the POC. Don't fall for anything when they, when you have a sense that the customer is like maybe not being as forthright as as they're going to be, that it is going to be about performance, that they're going to kind of want to see everything when they say kick the tires. They're not going to be able to restrict themselves to like just one thing. So that's on me to put better guardrails around like the proof of concept, so that they have a good outcome. Nutanix has a good outcome. All that.
Hey man, don't hurt yourself too bad. It happens to all of us. I know I've definitely had to bite that bullet of, hey man, I can only get you a G4 and it's going to be hybrid, and hey, we're just testing this one feature, right? And get them to sign off, and sometimes it still comes back to bite you.
So that's my war story.
Hey, it could have been a lot worse. So,
it could have been a lot worse.
And you always have the ability to hopefully go back and maybe one day attack them again and get them to see the light.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, maybe we'll do a couple more. Thanks, Jared. Good to see you. Hope everyone has a good one.
See you.